So just some background on what we are and what we do. Peanut Labs was one of the first virtual currency monetization platforms. We started in early '07, just launched with our exclusive market research surveys. Did that for about 2 years and then decided, well, why not be a complete monetization engine, included offers as well as payments. That was in early 2009. Flash forward, now we have about over 250 partners that we partner with for, like in the gaming industry, we have about 150 plus direct relationships in the client side for surveys and offers, and along the way you'll see there's some of the awards that we won. Now, when I was trying to figure out what to talk about, I actually reached out to a few people amongst you right now and said, what should the talk be about? Should it be about Peanut Labs, which it shouldn't be because most people here know about Peanut Labs. And it's funny because the most popular question that I got was this, and I wasn't expecting it. What's the best way to integrate a monetization engine? They basically said, hey, you guys have been doing this for 3 years. You guys know everyone. You guys see data from 200 different companies. Fill us in. Who has the best integration? And like, just fill us on the details. I thought about it. I actually spent at least 15 to 20 minutes trying to figure out what's the best integration, what can I say, and this is what I've come up with. It is not rocket science. As long as you're doing the basics right, it's really not rocket science. And in the next 5 minutes or so, whatever I have left, you're probably not going to see anything new or learn anything new. All I'm trying to do here is explain to you things that you already know work. Almost 90% of you guys would already know what I'm going to show you for the next 4 slides, but I bet half of you are not doing. So this is just putting numbers to, I guess, theories. This is the first one. Customization. Almost everyone knows, hey, customization works, and it should have, like everything you have on your product should have the look and feel for your product. But very few people actually do it. Here's an example of Pogo. So if you look at the screenshot, which I guess you can, you'll see that the iframe itself, the engine itself, looks very similar to what Pogo looks like. It has the same look and feel. Now, Pogo from day one had this, but Peanut Labs is a very data-driven company. I basically looked at the past 2 months worth of data, see what has been happening on the publisher side, who has done well and why, and I've put together this. Now, interesting, one of the partners who we've been live on for over a year, they made this change, I think about a month or 2 months ago. They basically changed their standard iframe, the standard engine, to a customized engine that looks the same as their product. And surprising as some might find, I actually did not find it surprising, their revenues jumped to 150 to 200%. That is the kind of difference it makes. And again, this is nothing new. Everyone talks about customization. This is just talking about a real number. Someone did it and increased their revenue by 2x. Well, 1.5 to 2x, but it works. The second thing is placement and timing. What I like to call is getting the right person at the right time to do whatever you want them to do. Within Peanut Labs, we have this cool functionality where you can basically, if a person has a survey available, you can notify them. This is basically what it is at the bottom. It's kind of like a chat window that pops open from the bottom if the user has a survey available. But irrespective of Peanut Labs, so the right word here is very relative. If your game is competitive, I mean, Playdom is here. I like their new game, what's it called, Bola Football, and I'm a big fan of it. I like football a lot and I play it. And it sucks when I'm playing someone and I get beat. It sucks to see 0-5. So at that point, if I'm told, if you do this, you can get melon cash, and with melon cash, you can actually hope to beat this person. I'll do it. So it's one of those things where if you're getting the right person at the right time, you show them, hey, you're trying to buy this thing, you don't have enough cash, here's something you can do. If you do it, it works. One of the partners who actually did it saw the conversion rate increase by 3x. Now, if a conversion rate for traditional survey offer is around anywhere from 15 to 25%, it jumped up to 60s to 75%. And that's huge. Interestingly, if you do something similar to this, irrespective of Peanut Labs, if you're notifying all your users, you're also going to increase your percentage of monetized users. This is something interesting that I found was that particular publisher was only monetizing about 15% of their users. Now they rolled this out, and all of a sudden this was popping up to a lot of the users who previously were not participating in surveys or offers. And their percentage went from roughly anywhere from 10 to 15 and jumped to over 20. Now these were new users that they were previously not monetizing, but then later started monetizing. I let the numbers speak for themselves. Their eCPM overall jumped by 230%, which is just because those users really wanted that particular incentive. The third is event-based promotions. Enough has been talked about it in the past couple of months, especially because of the success of Mother's Day promotions, but just again, putting some numbers out there. We've been doing promotions for a lot of games throughout the year, for Valentine's, for Mother's Day. This particular example, the screenshot you see is for Nexon. We did this at around Mother's Day. Now the only thing we did that's more than what we used to do before is made the creative or the placement, whatever you might call it, customized to their theme. And it worked really well. Just some numbers here. For Valentine's Day, one of the promotions that we did increased for that particular specific amount of time. It was a 190% revenue as opposed to 100. So that's almost, again, doubling your revenue. Agreed, it's not a permanent thing, but for a couple of weeks, hey, more revenue isn't bad. For Mother's Day, I think it was Nexon or maybe someone else, but they basically saw an uplift of over 250. Now clearly it seems that Mother's Day is more popular than Valentine's, but who am I to say? The next one is in-game promotion, and this is the last one. I think that was basically the amount of time I had. But in-game promotion, again, is something that is very common. People have talked about it for probably a year, if not more than a year, that if you promote things in-game and tie it with, whether it be surveys, offers, or whatever action you want your users to do, it works. We did the same thing. We basically brought a few publishers on and started working with them, made custom promotions for them, and eCPM for that particular promotion went up for 350%. Now these are all percentages over 150. Now, these are all increasing revenue, be it eCPM, it's all a difference of over 1.5x. If you're making $1,000 a day, that's more than $1,500. That's about $2,000 that you can make a day. The difference is huge. Currency promotion, this is something interesting that one of the partners actually initiated, we didn't, was how about we, for some specific amount of time, we drop the conversion rate. So between dollars to in-game currency. So if it is 1-to-1, we will actually give out, for every dollar, we will give out 2 units of currency. They're like, okay, should have a really good uplift. And needless to say, the uplift was there, they made more revenue. But more interestingly, those, like real money, those users went out and spent all of it. It doesn't matter whether they had 10 or whether they had 20, they just went out and spent all of it. And even more interesting, what happened was, not only did they spend that currency, they sticked around to the game longer. They basically had a buy-in to that game. They had spent enough time and money, or whether virtual money, but to be in there. And they had like more of an incentive to say, hey, okay, I have this super sword. I'm not going to go away. I'm going to kill some more people. But that's about it. That's basically my 4 things that I could come up with in the short amount of time. But to conclude, I think the way I would sum it up is, if you take something out of this, ignore everything I said, but if you take one thing from this discussion, take this: integrating a monetization engine, whether it is Peanut Labs or anyone, whatever you integrate, integrating it and not taking care of it, not working on it over time, is almost the same thing as creating a social game and then forgetting virality. It's just as bad. If you integrate it properly, work on it over time. Peanut Labs has its own people. We actually have a team who just does this. Just works with publishers and try to make sure they at least make stable revenue, if not increasing revenue month over month. And I'm sure other companies do the same thing. So just work with whoever you're working with. Just work closely with them and make sure it's not something that you're just putting up on your site, up on your game, and letting it be. Because that will work, but that will only work so well. That's it. If you have any questions, just find me later. I'll be around. Thank you.